How's it going, everyone? Jesus here, aka Tyrant Dominus, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about Anchor. Anchor is the one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. And best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. Honestly, Anchor is a very enjoyable platform to be on, listen on, and just a joy to be a part of this community. Anchor, come check us out.
And welcome back to Reactioncast. It's your host Jesus, aka Tyrant Dominus, here to bring you another movie review. This time around, we're going to be talking about the most anticipated film of 2021, Spider-Man No Way Home. So, there's a lot I want to talk about this, but we're going to keep this pretty simple, clean, and easy for anyone who doesn't want spoilers. The only spoilers things I'm going to say are things that you have seen in trailers. So if you have not watched any trailers, then it's your bad at this point. But I'm going to stay away from anything in particular that happens as far as the film, like all the big events and reveals and stuff like that. Everything else is going to be close to the few things that have been heard about. None of the speculation, none of the leaks, only things that are that were procured through trailers and some media outlets. So besides that, let's forgetting all that, Spider-Man No Way Home, it was such a wonderful and emotional ride. I'm not gonna deny that. It is a well done Spider-Man film. It is a Spider-Man film. I'm gonna say that. There's a lot of things with this film in particular, mostly because it's been one of the most talked about movies towards this year, mostly in the last couple weeks leading up to it. So much hype and talk has been done, and just waiting for trailers and posters just to get to this point. Is it overhyped? I'm gonna say no. It is truly a wonderful piece of medium, and to say this, Spider-Man No Way Home is what's good for Tom Holland's kind of like 3 film setup, because it's weird to think of it, because every other Spider-Man film franchise have had almost 3 films outside of like the Amazing Spider-Man, but there's always these like 3 arcs throughout like the Marvel phase. Like you got the Captain America phase, Iron Man phase. Iron Man got like 4 movies, but there's like this weird like phases as far as like character development for specific characters. There's like through like there are like crossover stuff that do develop some characters a little bit more, but it's when it's in their individual films that they come out a little bit more so, like they come out of it a little bit more. And for sure, Spider-Man No Way Home delivers that. It delivers a well performance from Tom Holland, because this is just happening right after the aftermath of Far From Home, after Peter Parker's identity has revealed. And what do you do when not only is your life, which you're trying to keep separate from your hero life, but also being accused to being a murderer of one of the quote most best superhero of all time, Mysterio. Like, where do you go from there? Like, how does that affect not only you, but the people around you? As you saw in the trailers, there's a lot of things that happen. I'm going to say this for sure, because like, if you already know some of the leaks and stuff or speculations, the trailers that have been showcased in the last couple of rounds, that's only, like, besides kind of like the big fights when you see like Electro and the Sandman, everything else in the trailers, that's only in the first half hour. Like, there is so much more film in this that you cannot guess what's going to happen. It is such a wild ride for sure. Visually, it is a spectacle to see, because you're introducing, not introducing, but you're adding the character of Doctor Strange, who is helping Peter, trying to kind of fix this dilemma, and it's just a wild ride. I did not expect the way they were gonna do it, the notions they were gonna do. It was an odd one. I honestly did not predict what this film was gonna do. Plot wise, there was a lot out there that was being said, and none of it that I heard, or I like tried to predict myself, was what happened on screen. There's a little things, but not the main plot. The main plot of this film is so wonderful and such like heartwarming. It has feel. On top of that, it has a lot of comedy for sure. There is so much more comedy than I was expecting, and there's a level of, how can I say this? There's a level of balance when there's these like very heavy tones, but it kind of blends well when there's these like very humorous moments for sure. Because I'll say this, it is one of the heavier films in recent franchise history for sure. It's up there. And going back a little bit, backing up a little bit, a lot of the films when talking with Spider-Man, like was it No Way Home was which, okay, so there was No Way Home. What was their first Spider-Man called? I got it. What was the first one called? Coming Home? Shoot, I can't remember the name of the Spider-Man movies. Why can't I think of the Spider-Man movies? Homecoming. So we never really got like there was Homecoming and Far From Home. These films were like really good staples, but they had elements that involved like a lot of the Marvel stuff and things like that. And this one for sure did, because you have like you had things referencing back, like Doctor Strange for sure, but it helped just kind of solidify a little bit more of just Spider-Man's world, because Spider-Man is your neighborhood, like friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, right? It kind of just settles into the area of New York and stuff like that. So this is one of the first few films that it feels grounded, and it feels like he feels like Spider-Man at home, and for sure it's wonderful. So all the villains in this that you saw, like that were shown in the trailers, like, so it's such amazing. It's such a cast come back. It's wild, and some of the surprises that just show up, and it's I don't know what more to say without really spoiling it too much. It's one of those things when there's so much talk, and if you're not really privy to a lot of the stuff, the talk, and trying to stay away from spoilers, for sure, leading up to watching this film, for sure, like the last 24 to 48 hours, I tried to stay away from all social medias, anything that would like spoil major leaks, because for sure this had a lot of leaks. Just getting into this film to sit down and just enjoy it, yeah, it hits for sure. It's one of those things where when it's over, you don't know what more to do. It is like it's a pretty somber moment once it's over, and the credits are rolling. I will say there is a mid and end credits, so stick to those. I'm not gonna say what they are, but do stick to those. It's always good to know if you have to stay all the way. You don't have to if you're not one of those people that enjoy, but if you've been with the Marvel franchise for so long, you know that there is a mid and end credit scene. But just while the credits are rolling for that to wait for the end credit scenes, it is those moments when you're kind of letting it sink in for sure. And what I'll say about this film, as far as medium, it is a lot. They take a lot of liberties to fill in a lot of nostalgia for sure. Some people might not like it. For me, it's fun. It's fun to make references and stuff like that, mostly to previous films, because just getting to see some of the old villains from past films and the multiverse and stuff like that, it is one of those things that this film does, and it can feel overbearing at times, but I felt that they did a reasonable job kind of relegating some of that. There are a couple scenes that just feel awkward. I won't deny that. I think they're just there for their sake. Besides that, it's from beginning to end, it's pretty crazy. Just non-stop craziness. It's almost hard to kind of just take a moment to breathe in between scenes. So I don't know what really to give this film, because it's not perfect. I won't deny that it's not perfect. It is a wonderful film, to say the least. It has a lot for being the third film for Spider-Man, the Tom Holland Spider-Man, to do such a amount of work to reintroduce characters, to kind of delegate all this shenanigans and madness. It is one of those things that I need to really ponder, that because I don't want to go crazy and say, oh yes, it's a 10 out of 10, it's a beautiful one, because there are some hiccups here and there. It's hard because I got to think of it from just a standard of film. When you sit down to watch this film, what do you find from it? What I found from it, there's these moments when watching films that once you see something and invested, there's a lot. Does your heart race during intense moments? Does your heart drop in those heartwarming moments? Those moments that just sink deep down when there's just something aching. This film, there are moments like that. It does make you feel. It makes you feel nostalgia when nostalgia is there, and it does that really well at some points. Like I said, there are some cringy moments. I won't deny that. There are some awkward moments, but seeing the cast again, they do a fantastic job. For sure, Tom Holland, Zendaya, I forget who plays Ned actually sometimes. Jacob Batalon, I believe. Yeah, it's having these three always together is wonderful, because they just have this wonderful friendship dynamic in the film. And then just adding Doctor Strange a little bit to kind of get into the mix of things. It's really well rewarded as far as casting and the way the characters are interacting with each other. So I'm gonna give this film a 9 out of 10. And the reason I'll say that is some of the things I want to talk about in the after credits. And that's why I want to say, like, there's something that I normally would. There are some things that I kind of want to push it down to an 8, but there are moments that solidify this film that bump it up to a 9 for sure. So yeah, I'll talk about that in the after credits. But yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home, 9 out of 10 from Reactioncast. But yeah, let me know what you thought of No Way Home. Were you able to stay away from spoilers? Did you get spoilers? What were you like? What were your best moments? As always, you can let me know by hitting me up on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok at Tyrant Dominus. Links are the main link to everything else down below. But yeah, until next time, see ya.